What's up guys, Hbox here. The biggest Smash major in the world just announced its sequel event, and many online are furious at a major change about this event. Let's go over what that change is and what it means for our community. After months of waiting, the Genesis team finally announced Genesis X, the 10th installment of the legendary franchise in its formal nature. Not only was Genesis X revealed, but they first announced the return of Genesis Black and Genesis Red. Genesis Red was an event that catered more to doubles focus, which is a really cool side event, especially when melee doubles is a big deal. And Genesis Black was a sort of regional event that would take place beforehand, one that I famously entered as all Fox, Sheik, and Falco, and still got top 8 as my moniker, Genghis Juan. It's a really great event, and it was really cool to see the Genesis team coming back together to do more than one event per year, because, let's be honest, they do some really good stuff. And then, on October 14th, Genesis X was announced, with registration going live in the following days. The moment registration went live, a couple of things seemed off, mainly in the response of people. First of all, it was mentioned that all event fees would be paid in person, while the venue fee is done online specifically. There is, however, a reason for this that might affect the entire Smash community. StartGG sent the following email out to organizers. And if you see the email right here, it basically says, Stripe has made a change to their prohibited and restricted business to include games of skill, including video game and mobile game tournaments, competitions, card games, board games with a monetary or material prize. In order to remain in compliance with Stripe's change, we'll make the following changes effective October 9th. Tournaments with paid events will not be able to link their Stripe accounts. Tournaments with linked Stripe accounts will not be able to add paid events. Effective November 1st, users cannot use Stripe to register for tournaments with paid events. This will impact the following tournaments, so on and so forth. So basically, Stripe is a payment processor which allowed credit and debit cards to be used on online platforms like StartGG. They recently updated their TOS to no longer allow payments for gaming tournaments based on skill. So, depending on, what you might want to call skill or not. But yeah, you can't use payments for gaming tournaments based on skill. It was this impending change that delayed the registration for Genesis when they launched while they made their current workaround. So there was a reason for this, not just because of TOs want to do this and that, money-hungry TOs. No, there was a clear reason for it. However, as registration opened, attendees were quick to notice something else, a potential $145 event registration fee. The prices for registration are as follows. Spectator passes are $50 for 1 day or $100 for 3 days, and these do not increase in price. The competitor registration launches at $125 until October 23rd, $135 until December 26th, and $145 until January 22nd. The competitor registration is required to enter any main event, which come at an additional $10 per piece, $15 per event in Ultimate, Melee, Rivals, Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear, or Splatoon. Now, immediately, I'm wondering why there is an extra fee added for competitors when it should just be everyone gets a spectator pass, and if you want to enter events, here's a you pay the additional fee per event. Usually that's what I'm used to. Like, you pay $100 for 3 days, and then $10-15 per event you want to enter. But it seems that there is an extra $25 charge on competitors specifically to do this, which I'm sure there's a reason for. But I did notice that as a difference. I'm not sure if that was what they did last year too. I don't remember, honestly, but I'm sure in the comments I will specify. Any side game can be entered with a competitor or spectator pass. So if you want to enter the side games that are there, and there's many little side games on arcade machines and all that, you can do that with just spectator pass. Side games include titles like Smash 64, Tetris, DDR, and other titles to be announced. And, of course, on this announcement, just as Smash Twitter does, many took to the platform to voice their takes on the increased price. And we have one here, of course, from Death Spade, who was very outspoken on what they thought about this increase. But to me, it is understandable. You have to remember, as the community grows, so does the amount of younger competitors. I am a 30-year-old sponsored player. Ain't no way is my life anywhere what it was like 15 years ago. So when you take into account these prices, you gotta put yourself in the shoes of people who are just getting into the game, people who are still in school, people who are not able to work. There's a very, very huge demographic of people in which paying $145 for a single tournament is a lot of money. There's a huge emphasis and amount of pressure to go to as many majors as possible to try and get ranked appropriately. And it takes a huge toll of people to do that without major funding from any teams. As I find out when I was trying to say the idea of, well, you know, what if you had to do, you know, you had to compete in one peer S tier per region, and then the main, of course, problem with that idea was how much it would cost to simply get to those events, which makes a lot of sense. What's not okay, though, to me, what's not okay is jumping the gun on these events in a negative way, which I think many have unfortunately already done. And this isn't to show Deathspade in a bad light or send any shade their way, but I want to give an example, like I guess from my perspective as a top player in Melee, that many are sharing, which I want to just maybe try and change the opinion on. I think Genesis is a very important thing for the community. I think that over time, a lot of more things are going to get more expensive. Some reasons due to inflation, sometimes it's due to costs that the TOs can't even control. I mean, we've even seen Juggle Guy at Big House. The sheer cost of having one additional stream just for the Big House was like over $10,000. It's crazy. With everything more expensive, we can't expect majors to stay at the same price forever. But there is perks, and I think a good reasoning as to why Genesis might have changed it. Genesis had traditionally rented out the giant, beautiful Civic Center Theater for finals on Sunday, and always require an additional fee to see it. This unfortunately wasn't possible this year, but the Civic Center does return this year, included in your fee, while keeping the main convention center still open for the day. So usually you would go, and then if you wanted to go see the finals, you had to get a separate ticket to go see it. They basically bundle it all together, which makes it more expensive, but I guess also the convenience of not having to, you know, fish around last second for a theater ticket, to me, is a good thing. Of course, you're still paying the same amount either way if you wanted to go to the theater one way or the other. Finally, the Genesis Tournament Series, to me, continues to be one of the best ran and most noteworthy events in the entire world, providing a nearly unmatched quality when it comes to both the spectator and the competitor experience. It's in some ways the mecca of all Smash because EVO isn't present, which I believe for a long time now. Fortunately, many Smashers came to the support of Genesis and the increased price and clapped back at many of the naysayers, Hugs being one. If you're happy because of a fee makes it harder for you to go to Genesis, that's understandable. The whole world is getting more expensive. I hope you can grind it out and make it. If you're unhappy because you think a grassroots event is trying to hustle you, you're an asshole. Khalid, Puff player from Cali as well. As someone who is infamous for complaining once before about Genesis, let me be the first to tell you that the venue fee is totally acceptable. We should all be fine with paying this price to support the flagship tournament of not only the year, but the Melee scene as a whole. Wisely as well. Genesis should charge even more. JFlex came back and said, do Smashers actually work? 40 hours a week will cover $125, $150 venue fee. You guys need a 8 to 4 9 to 5 job. Do some physical labor work. I said what I said. You know, different take, different people, but I understand the general sentiment. And then finally, Cody Schwab with almost 5,000 likes on this post. Gonna be real, Smashers are pissing me the F off. All of you have no qualms about spending hundreds of dollars on booze or weed or bitch about our money situation, then complain when one tournament raises venue fee $25 for a 24-hour venue, theater top 8, day 3 friendlies, and all else. And that's another thing you have to know, that with this additional increase in price, you do get access to an entire 24-hour venue. We can play all the friendlies to your heart's content. Entire day 3 of friendlies too. Day 3 used to be no venue. It should just be go to the theater, watch top 8, have a good time. But now you have the option, of course, to play as much as you want. It's, to me, justified given what they're giving you. And of course, this banger where Thunder is OP, Life by Thunder said, saying this during our current economic situation is nasty. Cody says, dog, you pay for Twitter, shut the fuck up, dumbass. It was just very, very funny. Anyway, I understand both sides, and I really do, because my first Genesis, like I said, I went to it when I was 16 years old, and I had like $100 to my name, and I had to basically use the money that I saved up from locals to buy my own ticket to go to this tournament, to then enter, and then add it on, so forth and so forth. Times are tough for a lot of people. It makes sense. 4 months to go between now and Genesis, 3 or 4 months. If you're able to go, amazing. If the tournament is valuable to you, if that experience is valuable to you, you should go. If you look into it, read the Start G page, find that it's not really enough to justify the cost, then don't attend. I think it's pretty much that simple. All I'm doing is giving my take on it, and I think it's a phenomenal tournament series, and I think that Genesis is significantly and strictly only a positive for the community. So if you are able to go, if you're on the fence and you're by chancing it, I would say go to this one specifically, because it seems like for Genesis X, they're doing a lot of things differently, and they're creating quite a spectacle for everyone to attend and enjoy. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments below. Is 145 too much for this kind of event? Do you wish they would sort of revert back to separating the theater and not? Do we need these perks? I want to hear your voices and opinions on this, because it is a lot of money. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you at Genesis if you are going there. See you next time.